So, three other quick things I want to highlight before our first speaker. Dr. Fauci's testimony in Congress this week. I absolutely understand taking the Fifth Amendment. I understand because there's a lot of people want to charge him with lying to Congress, and so if he talks, he's laying a predicate for that. But the position of, well, although Congress subpoenaed me to testify, I refuse to do so because you'll probably prosecute me for something I say. That's a terrible precedent if we care about Congress as an investigative body. Imagine if the Democrats win the midterms and they want to investigate corruption or ICE or DOJ, and no one is willing to testify because everybody can say, I'm not going to say a word because you're just going to charge me with lying. So we need to figure out a better way to deal with either immunity for testimony or the Fifth Amendment so that it doesn't simply become a shield against everyone testifying, saying my Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate myself. I've done nothing wrong, but if I speak, you will say I have said something wrong, and therefore I will be charged. We need to figure that out.
But he's right.
Individually, he's right, Susan. Yes, but do you not think when someone is on the witness stand in next March in front of the House Judiciary Committee, and they're being asked, okay, so you took this action that led in this much government money going to Don Jr. and Eric. Tell me about it. I'm not going to say a word about it. How will we possibly invest? That's my point. My point is that one of the things we often do here is we say this has got to be the rule, but we have to think about the other side of it. How is the rule to be applied to us? So I love Dr. Fauci.
That man suffered enough.
He suffered enough, but you say and I say he suffered enough, and they say he didn't begin to suffer. And 6 months from now, not 6 months, 6 months from 9 months from now, when we say, okay, Eric, come on up, they say he suffered enough, and we say no, it didn't even start yet.
They've been doing that all along.
They've been doing.
I mean, Dr. Fauci didn't create this. They've been doing that all along.
I totally agree. They've been doing it.
The problem is the system is corrupt.
That's why we need media. Media is the watchdog. That's why we need to pick those outlets that explore and expose the truth as opposed to the clown show that are congressional hearings.
Rich is basically saying we need the media to expose things that the clown show of congressional hearings does not do. I agree with you all. I'm on this side of this issue, but I do think, and maybe it's the lawyer in me, that spends all day long drafting a rule that says today's issue is mom's the bad guy, but 2 years from now dad might be the bad guy. How do I draft a rule that makes this that doesn't get my client in trouble down the road? I'm just concerned that everything we say, remember, I mean, I believe when we say it, it's true, and I believe when they say it, it's often not true. But remember that the rules have to apply both ways. I think this is part of the reason why the Supreme Court said we've got to give presidents immunity for what they do in office. Because one of immediate concern was Biden's out and he's in jail in 2025. Because they made it really clear that they were going to do that. So I think the unfortunate byproduct of that is that someone like Trump says, good, I got carte blanche to do whatever the heck I want. I have absolute freedom. But to me, it's a good example of the law of unforeseen consequences. And it's also, and this, by the way, is a good example on National Friendship Day of how important it is for us to be able to, if we can't have good conversations and disagreements, then what hope is there for more disparate groups? So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And Congress can solve it by giving people who testify immunity.
Congress could give people immunity.
They don't need a new rule.
Do you want to give immunity to Pete Hegseth next year?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay. So okay. And we have a no and a yes, and I'm sure
Not to throw everybody in jail.
it's always depending on the circumstances. Yep.